Mouse is the child of an unidentified kindred named Barketta, whose clan is unknown, but we know that she is 13th generation or higher, as Mouse is a thin blood. Everything we know of his past comes from the pages of his notebook. Despite his nature, and the negative view many take on the Duskborn, Mouse had a good relationship with his sire. She did not turn him out, and they worked together to manage their affairs, Barketta handling the kindred details at night, and Mouse taking care of the mundane wrist licker activities during the day. The first of the notebook entries begins with Barketta found murdered and Mouse in shock. She was the only person he could confide in, and describes the numbness he feels at her loss. He describes how she had begun to unravel some sort of mystery at the time of her final death, but she would not tell him anything about it, presumably to try and keep him safe. Her death left behind nothing, no body, no motive, no suspect, and no chance at vengeance. Yet. The next journal entry picks up a year later. Mouse laments the year he has spent, full of wasted effort and empty hope. Unable to learn anything about Barketta's death, he sits on the floor of the haven they shared, flirting with the business end of a shotgun, but notices something underneath the safe. It is an envelope that contains photos and notes in Barketta's handwriting. Inside there are files detailing her investigation, as well as a letter addressed to him. It states that he is the only one that she could trust. He laments that it took him so long to find this, reflecting on how he was a disappointment to her up to and even beyond her death. However, his determination has been renewed, and he vows to take up her investigation, believing it could help solve the mystery of what killed her. The documents point directly at the kindred, and he knows it will be dangerous, but he also has nothing left to lose. As Mouse's investigation begins, strange things start to occur around him. Things go missing from his home, only to reappear at a later time as if they had never been gone. Strangers approach him in the streets at random, saying things to him he does not understand. He believes he has attracted the attention of the local Nosferatu, comparing their tactics to that of the secret police prevalent during the communist rule of the country. As time goes on, he also receives death threats. With all the attention he has attracted, and as he is one of the Duskborn, he wonders why they have not killed him yet. Despite this, he presses on. He is sure they must be responsible for Barketta's death. Eventually, Mouse cracks one of the messages related to the case and learns of Omnis, the Nosferatu primogen. Despite the revelation, it is not clear if Omnis is connected to the group he is investigating, or if they are also a target. Not thinking clearly, Mouse attempts to search for clues about Omnis online. The next time he awakens, it is to his home on fire. He barely escapes, freeing himself from the burning haven with only his clothes on his back and his notebook. He decides he must approach Omnis. The last entry is one of frustration, but also determination. Mouse knows he is being toyed with, chasing clues and solving puzzles like a mouse hunting cheese while avoiding cats, like some kind of sick joke. If it is a joke, though, failing to understand it in time will prove lethal. He leaves his journal behind in case he does not figure it out in time. It is theorized that the things that Mouse goes through to unravel the mystery, and perhaps even what Barketta was investigating, are in fact part of an elaborate recruitment process that Omnis puts people through before making them one of his agents. This is based on the fact that it is not the end of Mouse's story, and the next we hear of him, he is now an agent to Omnis. Specifically, he is the agent that discovered what happened to Prince Marcus during the entity attack on the Second Convention of Prague. Mouse is tapped by Omnis to learn the whereabouts of the prince and is given access codes to make use of some of the network's many resources. Mouse steals an entity uniform and infiltrates the prince's haven as the group continues to investigate the blank body presence they found there. He acquires helmet cam footage from the assault as well as audio recordings of conversations between hunters despite nearly being caught. During his investigation, he also kidnaps one of the entity hunters and interrogates him to learn that the prince had escaped the assault at the cost of his seneschal's life. Tracking the prince's movements, he learns he made it into the sewer tunnels under the city kept by the Nosferatu, but he loses track of him soon after that point. We later learn that his intel arrives too late, and that the prince who made it into the St. Giles Church likely perished in the blaze that was set there. Though this is the last we have heard about Mouse so far, there is a strong chance it will not be the final time, as the fighting on the streets and rooftops of Prague escalates and the intrigues in the Elysium deepen.